Hello everyone, we are Group 5. Today we would like to discuss consumer involvement and its impact on the real-life purchasing process. Consumer involvement refers to the level of importance a consumer attaches to a product, which directly affect the degree of information processing that a consumer is willing to invest in purchasing. As consumption is a risky activity, high involvement goods entail significant consumer participation. Contrarily, low involvement products typically pose less of a risk for consumers to evaluate. There are three main dimensions that affect the level of personal involvement: personal characteristics, product category characteristics, and situation characteristics. I will explain the definition of each characteristic. Firstly, personal characteristics may include the customer's personal needs, value, interests, and past experiences. And product category characteristics refer more specifically to the consumer's perception of those product characteristics. Product characteristics usually refers to the product's price, risk, country of origin, history, and consumed privately or consumed publicly. Privately consumed products such as household goods and grocery products. Publicly consumed products are those that others can see and make comments on. Finally, situational characteristics relate to the circumstances that the consumer finds themselves in when making a purchase decision or when consuming the purchase.
Let's explore some real-life examples. To begin with personal characteristics, different personal characteristics can result in low or high involvement in decision-making process. For example, a person who is interested in high-tech products will pay attention to the performance, functionality, and usefulness of the product. The consumer will carefully select Apple products, compare them with other brands, and search the internet for relevant information. For him, buying Apple products belongs to high involvement activity. Furthermore, a high degree of loyalty to Apple can alleviate the consumer's negative emotions. If he's loyal enough to Apple, negative news about Apple will not deter him to buy Apple products. The consumer's personal wealth affects the level of involvement as well. If a person is wealthy, it's easy for him to buy Apple products without consideration and purchase them directly. For this type of consumer, buying Apple products would be considered a low involvement purchase, also known as a habitual DM. Then I'd like to discuss the second characteristic of products that influences consumer purchasing decisions, the product category characteristics. To illustrate this point, let's take Tesla as an example. According to the research, Tesla's pricing is relatively high compared with other new electric vehicles. This means that consumers need to do a lot of research and think carefully before making a purchase decision. The high price also creates certain amounts of financial risk for consumers, as a new brand in short period could lead to depreciation and anxiety over the quality of the product. Another important factor of the product category is whether it's consumed privately or publicly. A car is meant to be driven out of the house and seen by others. Therefore, for consumers who care about the opinions and evaluations of others, the car they drive is a statement to others about the type of person they wish to be seen as. Thus, purchasing a Tesla becomes important to them. Additionally, the history of product is also an important consideration for consumers. Tesla is a relatively new brand in the vehicle market, so consumers may take this into account when making a purchasing decision. The country of origin is another product feature that consumers care about. As Tesla is a new tech brand from the US, consumers in other countries would be actively involving in purchasing Tesla because they need more information research and a strong demand for personalization. All of these product features influence consumer personal involvement and can affect whether consumers are willing to to invest more in a particular products. Moving on to the situation characteristic. The level of consumer involvement in purchasing decision can vary depending on their situation. For example, if a consumer is a frequent wine drinker, he may not invest much time and effort in decision-making of purchase. He may choose a wine he already familiar with without any considering other options. This situation can be categorized as a low involvement process. However, when the consumers need to buy a wine to serve guests, they were likely to put more effort into selecting the right wine. They may consider factors such as the guest taste preferences and choose more expensive wine to make their guests feel valued. This situation can be categorized as high involvement process. Then Qingzhi will now further discuss the involvement and decision process and the implementation of the theory.
After we summarize the definition examples, I'd like to further discuss consumer involvement and its implementation. For consumers, even low involvement product can become high involvement. For example, toilet paper can be a high involvement product if guests are due to arrival. So the level of involvement depends on product features at a particular time and in a specific environment. I'd like to also emphasize that the involvement level affects consumers' decision-making process. As we can see, the extensive problem solving is the most complicated one. It's likely to occur, especially due to a lack of purchasing experience and high level of risk. Limited problem solving requires low involvement, and routine problem solving requires almost no research and evaluation. From marketer's perspective, understanding consumer involvement is very critical to developing effective marketing strategies. The first step is to identify marketing segments and understanding consumers' involvement in your products. If you find your product potentially covers consumers with two types of involvement, you can use a marketing mix strategy to influence each type of consumer. For low involvement consumers, simplifying the buying process and providing sales promotion is one of optimal solutions. For high involvement consumers, you should consider providing all necessary information about products and even personalized buying experience for them. That's all of our presentation. Thanks for listening. Please share your thoughts and questions in the discussion board.